All right, welcome to the Williamsville Public Library and Museum. Today is Wednesday, September 13th, 2023, and we're talking to George Patterson about his life in the Williamsville area over the years. George, you've lived in this area for most of your life. When you think about that, how do you think things have changed from the time you were a kid to now?
Well, as I said, things have changed, but really it's kind of the same. The people who live here, they love Williamsville. That's the way it's been forever.
Okay.
If you were raised here, you're still a bullet. It's just one of those things that's instilled in you. Pride in community, pride in helping other people when they have a problem. Storm comes and the whole town works together to clean it up. Just a lot of things like that that have stayed the same. As far as change goes, facility. Look at your library here.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. I had not been in here until last week. It's incredible what you have here.
Thank you. Thank you.
People should be very proud of this. Also, you got the park, which has been completely redone. But also, I remember the original baseball field down there is Wyatt Patterson Field.
Right.
And he supplied the funds to build that originally. And that's been quite a while ago. Gosh, 50 years ago, probably more. I would say that things like the post office. You guys should look at that post office. The biggest change I see as far as the community goes is the school. That school has grown tremendous. That facility is about as nice a facility as I've ever seen, not only in high school, in some small college. The new football field, the basketball place they play, that new arena where they, like an all-purpose facility, is incredible. Something that you just don't see anyplace else. That's the reason a lot of people are coming here, is because of the school. The people here, the school is providing great education. It's still public school, but it's run pretty well. They don't put up with a lot of things that they do in other schools. Also, the sports, people are coming here for the sports. Your football teams, your basketball teams, your volleyball teams are doing very well. They draw good crowds, and of course, I'm a sports guy, so I really enjoy that part of the community. Like I say, things change, but they still stay the same. The buildings downtown are staying the same old buildings, been there forever. I just redid my front of my building with the help of the village to redo the brick part of it, but it's still the same building. Buildings that are where Augie's restaurant is, used to be a grocery store. So I would say that the main things are the size of the community, population, opportunities you have here as far as schools, library. This is kind of hard for me to tell you about because I think it's changed a lot as far as what you see here. But as far as the inner workings of it, our village board, they're still the same kind of people that have been there for a long time.
So perhaps things on the outside have changed, but the heart of the community has stayed the same.
Exactly. Look at the cleanliness in this village. You go to some villages and it's a mess. You don't see that here at all. The grass and the lawns, people take care of their properties here, and you don't see that in a lot of other villages.
And we do have community organizations, of course, like the Garden Club that help keep us looking good.
Yeah, you see those ladies work their rear ends off out there, yeah.
A lot of hours of hard work, absolutely. When you go back and when we look back and you're thinking about your father and your grandfather and how they were kind of mentors to you, can you tell us a little bit about that?
My grandfather, George Patterson, lived in Riverton. He was the vice president of the First National Bank in Springfield. I remember when I went into town in Springfield when I was a kid, I'd always stop by the bank and we'd go to lunch together. I was around Wyatt all the time, and his wife was named Mimi.
Okay.
And Mimi ran anybody that was a funeral, the flowers that went there, she was the one that did all of that. She was a very gracious lady who was very community organized, community involved with the funeral.
So she didn't do it as a business?
No.
She just did this?
Right at her home.
Okay.
And other people who really influenced me, once I got to Valparaiso University, I had a coach named Gene Bartow. And he was very, very good to me. He made you work hard, but I respected him tremendously. He always gave me a fair chance to play. Now, I wasn't the best player on the team, but he gave me a chance to be one of the best on the team. And his work ethic is instilled in me to this day. And I instilled that in my kids as far as sports goes. People think that your kids are just good athletes. That's not true. Good athletes come from work, hard work, and dedication. There's many days when I spent time with John in the gym shooting buckets. Nobody knew we were there, but we did. It paid off. Those kind of ethics, work ethics, I think important to me came from my college basketball.
So it sounds like you were fortunate to have a lot of positive role models in
Yes,
your life.
ma'am, for sure.
You obviously have a lot to be proud of between the businesses and your family and your children and grandchildren. Is there anything that stands out in your mind? Anything in particular?
Oh yeah, I've been very lucky my whole life. You know, I've been blessed to have a beautiful wife. Kids have been good kids. My sister been very successful. I think one thing that's important in life is if your kids are successful, it makes your life a lot easier. My kids have been very successful.
So they made it easy for you.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you want your kids, your grandkids, your community members, when they think of George Patterson, what do you want them to remember? What do you want them to think of?
I would think that hopefully they would think of me as being somebody who they'd like to be around, maybe somebody that was has something good to say about other people. I always ask about other when I talk to friends or somebody I hadn't seen for years. I always ask them about their kids. Everybody wants to talk about their kids, even me.
Of course.
And that brings a little bit of tear to my eye about things like that.
Sure, sure. Well, a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, of course, we're all very proud of the next generation coming up, but sometimes it's good to maybe share a little advice or wisdom with them. So, if you were to impart some wisdom, some of the things you've learned over the years with your experience personally and professionally with your family, what kind of advice would you give to today's young people?
Work hard, be involved, be kind to your parents. A lot of kids, I see the way they talk to their parents kind of upsets me. I also sometimes see parents who are kind of rough on their kids and they really don't, the kids don't deserve that. Upsets me. So I would think that just as far as advice goes, work hard, be honest. If you're going to do something, do it. Don't go halfway. Do something 100%. If you want to do something 100%, you're going to be successful. If you don't want to do it halfway, then don't do it. That's just the way things need to be. Although the way politics are today, I don't know how getting to the point where how can you respect people that control your life when they're not doing what they should do as far as their lives go.
So it's on every level, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
The main thing is if you're going to do something, do it 100%.
Right.
Don't just try to get by. Abraham Lincoln said one time, "It is rather to be quiet and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt."
And I don't know if that was Lincoln or Mark Twain,
Okay,
actually.
one of the two.
But either way, sound advice.
I kind of go by that.
Right.
If I'm in a conversation, I'll listen to you more than try to speak my side of the story, because a lot of people, they want to tell you everything, but they don't want to listen.
And so maybe today we could use a little more listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Between families and in society in general
is
your basic gist there. All right. Well, thank you. We've talked about a lot between businesses and family and growing up. Is there anything else about the Williamsville, Sherman area that you think about that you'd want to talk about?
I think if you wanted a place to settle down, my gosh, you couldn't find a better place than Williamsville or Sherman. And as far as Sherman goes, it's booming too.
Right.
Same as Williamsville. Look at the new houses out by the lake. That's incredible. How many people have built out there? Same way in Sherman, a road called Old Tipton School Road.
Mm-hmm.
It's just booming. When I first moved there weren't any houses across the street from me, and now it's full.
So do you remember like what Sherman was like versus Williamsville when you were a kid?
Sherman was a coal town.
Okay.
Coal mines. There was coal mines, probably 50 houses and 2 taverns.
Okay.
It was a very, very small little community. And Williamsville was a much larger community at the time, but now they're both grown so much.
So now, where did you go to grade school?
Grade school was in Williamsville.
Okay. And junior high?
Williamsville.
And then in high school, is that when Sherman and Williamsville came together?
No, they were together for well before that. It's just that there was an elementary school in Sherman, there was one in Williamsville, but they all went to Williamsville High School. There was no Sherman High School.
Right. Okay. So there was a time when the kids in Sherman went to Sherman Elementary, the kids in Williamsville went to Williamsville Elementary. And did the Sherman kids have their own junior high as well? Or did they come to Williamsville?
They came to Williamsville.
Okay. So each town had their own grade school. You came together for junior high and high school then.
Correct.
And now, of course, all of our students in Sherman and Williamsville go to elementary school in Sherman, and then they come here to Williamsville
Right.
for junior high and high
Right.
school.
Right.
Okay.
Really, this has been a nice experience for me.
All right.
I appreciate what you've been doing. The library here is just, anybody who wants to come to Williamsville needs to come to the library. Check it out, because you'll be really surprised what's here. This is really amazing.
Thank you. We are a library and museum, so of course, thank you for helping us with the local history side and giving us some perspective on the local history. We appreciate that.
I'm glad to be here, and you've been very kind, and I appreciate all you do.
Well, thank you, George. All right. Well, thank you for sharing your time and your insights with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.